Let's get started, y'all. Ready and go. What's up? You are listening to the Compound Movement.
Yeah.
Yo, I changed the tagline, AD.
What you got for me?
Effing up your ideas around health and fitness.
She.
I was just thinking, like, yo, we messing it up. You know, you got these
yeah.
ideas. We effing up your ideas. You think health and fitness is one thing?
The original tag was a little too formal for me. I felt like I was a little stuffy with that.
Yeah, it was like rebuilding your ideas around fitness and health.
I was like, "Where's the seminar? Where are we going? Like,
So
where's the conference?"
Like, yeah, I was like, he was like, we have to make this more ethnic.
Yeah, ethnic.
Let's ethnic this out. So a quick check in, AD. How is life? What is going on? Yo, you been working out, bro? You sent me some pictures. I got to post you this week. I was excited.
Yeah, you know, I've been kind of dealing with some health issues, so I finally started feeling like my body was mine again.
All right.
But I can't do what I used to do, so I got my pilots on. I love when I talk to my Pilates people. They be like, "It's not pilots." I'll be like, "Yeah, but I just like to say."
Oh, because I was like, "What's a pilot?" I was so confused. Pilates.
Pilates. Yeah, man. So I've been getting my Pilates on. Been trying to work on that, improving my core strength and my mobility, flexibility. So it's been good. It's been helpful. Less pain, less discomfort. I'm getting.
I'm glad you gotta do a little bit. Represent lupus.
Yeah.
And that's we the queens and kings of the idea of dialing things back. When we have a flare, we can't do everything, and sometimes this funny enough this week. So my shirt this week says, "Who says mornings are for sleeping in?" Sorry, for sleeping in. That's my T-shirt to this week.
Okay.
And I slept in this weekend. My lupus was like really acting up this weekend, so I kind of went to the gym. I went to the gym. I felt a little good, and after the gym, I was like done. So sometimes we need those rest breaks. I think we talked about that last one of the other episodes. We talked about the idea that you need to rest in order to be the most optimal self, right?
Yeah, man. I've been kind of going through that process of trying to figure out how to like relearn my body. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to being a former wrestler and being able to go hard, and now if I go hard, I go to sleep. For like
go
3
night.
weeks. Yeah, like I'm not walking. You know what I mean?
No,
so I had to make some adjustments, but I feel great today. I feel great.
Yeah, shout out to all the people battling chronic illnesses, battling things, and still making it work, still trying to take care of their health. I think
and all that.
But I think that's the other side of it, and it's important. And I can't wait to talk about that on another future show. Right?
Yeah, we definitely gonna tackle that.
Yeah, the idea of like living with a chronic illness and how do you make fitness a part of that? Because I think that, it's scary. Like the idea is like, I'm sick or I don't feel well. Why should I move?
Well, the other thing too is people have their preconceived notions of what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and that's the tough part. When you're in your headspace about it, and then people are just constantly beating you up with,
why you ain't doing that?
Yo, why you ain't going hard? I'm like, this is hard for me. You don't know my personal truth, fam.
You don't
back.
know my
What I'm
pain.
saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know my
then I look like the bitter old man talking about, you don't know about me.
You don't know about me. Back in my day. But you see my bones.
My bones hurt.
Back in my heyday, I could outlived all of y'all.
I got the gout. My feet hurt.
I'm saying, well, so real quick, so let's thinking about that. We're going to talk about that in the future. I can't wait for that episode because, we got to go in on that. But let's go into fact or fiction. Boop, boop. Fact or fiction. So
we're going to get some music for that.
I know. We got to get something for fact or fiction. Like,
fact or fiction.
That sounded like it needed spirit fingers at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Or jazz hands. All right. So, Ada, you said you got some fact or fiction. What you got for me?
So, the more you sweat, the more calories you burn. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Absolutely.
Really? Okay. I was guessing.
Yeah. Sweat is how your body cools itself down. It doesn't equate the amount of calories burned. Some people think, I got to sweat. That means I'm working harder. I mean, it might mean that your body's saying you working too much and you got to calm down, but it doesn't mean more calories are being burned. So I thought that was a cool little one because you always see the people wear the garbage bag suit.
Yeah, looking like me. I'm super fly.
Yeah, with the Missy. So,
the Missy Elliott.
But yeah, that's not always accurate,
Well, what about the sweatbands? I got to check that out because that's the trend now.
Yeah.
Especially ladies got that waistband, the waist trainer looking sweatbands thing. I feel like it does something.
I'm going to ask you this. You sweat on your face in life, right?
Do your face lose weight? I ain't never think about that.
Your face ain't got smaller in your whole life after you sweat.
So it doesn't. Okay, we gotta research that.
Yeah.
I gotta do full. I mean, it makes perfect sense what you're saying.
You know what it does? It looks like you got more abs.
It does. I take it off and it'd be like shh. and it's like the steam comes out, and it's like abs. Like,
I love how you have your own personal commercial walking around with you. When
that's
you
what it
take off.
was. You take it off, it's like shh.
It's like a chamber just removed.
Dun, dun, dun. It's like detectives. Like all of a sudden, like the whole room gets dark, and it's just like a highlight over my abs
Nice.
as the sweat glistens. Yeah, that's gonna be a photo shoot someday. I'm telling you.
That is gonna be a photo shoot.
Well, that's a good factor of fiction. I think we don't think about that because there's a whole emphasis. Well, I sweat. Period.
Same.
I'm gross. There's a reason why when I do shows, I wear black on purpose.
So like, ain't no dude seeing you at the gym like lightly perspiring.
No, they seeing me gross and sweaty. So I know that if they accept me, then they can accept me in the world outside. Because I promise, I sweat and I'm gonna look gross in the gym, but I'm amazing when I get out that shower. I'll be like, I make sure I walk out with my heels.
I was so afraid about what you were about to say.
Oh
but
no. I wasn't going there. I wasn't going that far.
Hey, we effing up.
We effing up ideas around mine. No, not around my business.
We having some fun. That's all.
We having some fun.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it.
Let's do it.
Let's get straight into it. It's gonna be a good show. I'm very excited about this because this is the part that everybody doesn't think about. Everybody just goes hard in the gym and nobody thinks about like not jacking themselves up.
Word.
So how to not jack yourself up. All right.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. And we have Sean A. Thomas. I give you whole government, right? Sean Thomas. Doctor. Do I say doctor?
It is doctor.
Doctor. Excuse me.
Dr. Thomas.
Dr. Thomas.
I work hard for that thing. Let's go.
It's official.
Like I'm still paying that off. Dr. Thomas. He's a
Okay.
physical therapist and associate director at 1-to-1 Physical Therapy. I've seen those. I've been a few of those. I know a few of those.
We are everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 of us, 20 locations all around the 4 boroughs. Not the Bronx yet, but we're in 4 boroughs.
See,
There's no
Yeah.
reason to go to the Bronx.
There's all the reasons to go to the Bronx. We in pain
Ain't he
too.
mad? Ain't
No,
he
we
mad?
always get that
We're
treatment.
working on that. We're
Thank
working
you.
on that. We're going to be
Listen.
there soon.
Thank
We're going to be
you.
there soon.
You're going to be there. AD like y'all gonna open one across the street from him.
They got 17 in Brooklyn alone. And we like, ain't got nothing in the Bronx, man. Sorry.
He was like, we all over except the Bronx. Y'all in Staten Island?
Yes, we are.
Oh, see?
Dang, y'all got no love.
You next, though, AD. You
Yeah,
next.
yeah,
I
all right,
promise.
B.
I promise.
Whatever, man.
Make
You,
sure
you,
it
wanna-
happens.
you can scout a location. Start scouting locations.
You find me
man.
a spot, I'll make it happen.
We like, there's a bodega right here on the corner.
Yo, second floor of the bodega be official. I'm saying.
So he also another cool thing you have, and I can't wait to talk about it, is they're the president of Be More Today. It's a like another you're gonna talk about that that is.
Yeah.
Yo, he's a former professional dancer. Like
Oh.
I was digging up on you, man. I was digging up. I was googling, and
She was on the goggles.
I was on the goggles, and I found that was pretty awesome. So, but thinking about all of that, what made you go into physical therapy?
Oh, that's a long story. It's an
Well,
hour
give me
show,
the
right?
abridged version. Give
Yeah,
me
man,
the
we ain't
abridged.
got-
He's
See?
like, so when I was
When
a
I was
child,
5 years old.
Once upon a time,
my mother, when I was born, she told me
there was
I
a burning
gonna
bush.
Exactly. Sean. So, real talk. First of all, thank you so much for bringing me on the show.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
pleasure.
You guys
Pleasure.
are doing a great job. I love the energy. I love the topic. PT for me was not my original plan. I'm not
Okay.
going to lie to you. I wanted to be a medical doctor.
Okay.
And applied to medical school. Wasn't working out. And I actually have had therapy twice. I've had 2 knee surgeries.
Oh, dope.
Meniscus tears in 99 and 2002. So looking for something I wanted to do, I didn't really have a clue after medical school was like out of the way. And when I thought about PT, I shadowed a couple of therapists. I saw what they were doing. I saw the progress. And knowing what I went through for therapy, I saw that I didn't really take it seriously my first time. My second time around, I really saw that PT really helped.
Right.
And I said if I was going to do anything in life that I liked doing, PT was the thing.
Gotcha.
So I applied, I got in, and it's been 7 years now. I've been practicing for 7 years,
Oh,
and I love
wow.
every single day just helping people move.
Aw.
It's what I do every single day, and I love it.
That's really dope. I said it was dope when he said he had 2 knee injuries, not because that was dope, but I had an injury, an ACL replacement, an
Oh, yeah.
MCL, what's it called, the grafting,
Yeah.
the whole deal.
Reconstruction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It changes your life.
It
after
does.
You go through that.
It
for
does.
sure.
And most people who do PT, either they've been hurt before, they've like gone through some kind of injury, and they've recognized how serious it is, or they just like helping people in general. But every PT you see or know has gone through something like that, and I'm just one of them. So just blessed to see that what I do, I can actually tell my patients what they've gone through because I've been there myself, you know?
Right.
So every day I'm telling them what's going on, how they're going to get through things. 'Cause I went through the same thing, and we all just kind of get through the thing together, sharing stories, sharing what we've been through, experiences, and just getting people better.
Do you think it helps? Just having that story is the thing that really helps you connect with your patient.
Oh yeah. I mean, every day, every person I see comes in with pain. No one ever comes in happy. So every single day is like, this is what's wrong. This hurts. This hurts. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's never an instance of where we're helping people feel better because they feel good. Everyone comes in feeling bad. Right. And just giving them the sense that, look, I got through this. The person next to you is going through the same thing you're going. So you guys talk about what's going on with your knees. She's 6 weeks out. You're 2 months out. You can talk about what's going on with your knees and how the process is going, and just trusting the process. No pun intended, but it really is about trusting the process, and allowing people to see that they can, again, get back to what they want to do, whether it's a weekend warrior or, someone who's trying to really do stuff at a younger age. You can always get back to your functional activities as long as you keep pushing.
Got you. So you've done 7 years now?
It's my 7th year being a doctor of physical therapy in Brooklyn, yeah.
All right. So we're going to ignore the Brooklyn part. But
soon to be the Bronx.
Yeah.
Soon to be the Bronx. Coming soon.
And so in 7 years, what are the common things you see? What are the most common injuries that come into your office?
A lot of injury we see in usually. So I'm an outpatient, which means I see a lot of people who just basically come to us. They can actually come to us, right? Okay. You have subacute, you have the hospital therapy, you have home care. Which people, they can't leave their house at all. They have a hard time even getting out. But my specialty is mostly outpatients. So people either come to me after they had surgery or they had some kind of incident, whether an ankle sprain or something that's like chronic, like arthritis or even like fibromyalgia, all these chronic diseases you guys have talked about before. So we see the whole gambit of people. But the most common injury we see, or the most common ailment, is really knees.
Yeah.
Knee pain and back pain. Knee pain, like arthritis, wear and tear, meniscus issues, and then back pain is the gambit. Everything from arthritis to disc issues. So back and knee are two biggest things that we see. And a lot of them are chronic issues, things that have been going on for a long time, that when they come to us, they probably should have come to us before, right? But they really have nowhere else to go, and either they're about to have surgery, or they're after surgery, or they're chronic and they're trying to just deal with how to not have surgery. So you see a lot of knees and backs for sure.
My knee, my back. I know he's like knee, and I was like neck. I was hoping you'd say neck. I was gonna be like, oh, you lit. No,
it could work. It could definitely work.
But thinking about, so that's interesting. So the knees and the back. When should they have come? Like thinking about that. What are the signals that tell you should come?
Right. So this is the thing, right? Everyone likes to be active nowadays, especially in New York City.
Walk it off.
Right. You think this whole no pain, no gain thing is accurate. It's not always accurate, right? Sometimes things do hurt. Sometimes you need to reassess what's happening and see what's really going on. Yeah. For instance, if you have like a knee injury, we have a lot of weekend warriors who come in, right? People do like stuff on the weekends, especially in New York City. Spartans, yes, we'll talk about that later.
That's what I was about to say, weekend warrior. I know. I was like, people are like, am I a weekend warrior?
Right. Yeah, but people basically don't do anything during the weekend. On the weekend, they're in the park, they're with their dog, they're doing races, and they come to us on Monday saying, "Look, I hurt myself." They haven't stretched, they haven't warmed up, they haven't cooled down. They don't do anything really to work on strengthening. In those situations, the best way to kind of work on preventing injury is to listen to your body for one. I mean, everyone, like you had said, you used to wrestle, right? Yes. You wouldn't wrestle right now.
Not by choice.
Somebody, I was about to say, that's like someone tried to take my wallet, you might go down.
But I'm sure you don't do the kind of stuff that you used to do back in the day. You modify it now. Because your body changes, right? And for whatever reason, the same way our eyes don't change what we see, our mind doesn't really change. We think we can do what we used to do when we were 16, 17, 18, 25, 35, 75, whatever it is. So recognizing where you are is probably the most important part, and just being realistic about where you are. And then secondly, taking care of your body, listening to your body. It's hard for me to say what's best for you if you can't recognize what really hurts and what makes you feel better, what makes you feel worse. So recognizing look, I know that for me, I feel this way in the morning, this kind of thing bothers me, stairs bother me, recognizing how we can modify certain things to make sure that what you want to do functionally, you can still do. And then just taking care of yourself, warming up, stretching, icing. Ice is like the most important thing that everyone neglects. No one wants to do, especially my Haitian patients. They don't want to put any ice on anything. They're like, no
Haitian patients?
That's what I'm saying. He's talking about his people there.
Haitians don't believe in that, fam.
Like, I'm going to catch a cold in my knee. And I'm going to get my knee cold. And I said, look, it's not about that.
It's
going to
bad
help
for my
you.
bones.
Yes, they always say that to me. All of them. And
It's
I'm like,
cold,
I get it. I understand it. But one of the things that does help is ice. Because heat, everyone loves heat. But heat does nothing for pain. There are no pain receptors that are attracted or affected by heat at all. It makes you feel good. It brings blood flow to the area. You feel nice when you get out the shower, like you had said earlier.
I love me a hot shower.
You love the shower. But once you get out the shower, and you should stretch after the shower because everything feels nice and warm. In terms of pain, heat does nothing for pain. the pain receptors you still have, you will have after you get out of the shower as well.
So so the cold does something to the pain
Ice
receptors?
does a direct correlation. Those C fibers directly correlate to reducing pain receptors and reducing your pain. That's why we ice.
I thought it was just a cool. I thought it was just a cool looking thing when you see the guy getting out of the ice tub. Like,
no,
ah.
when I was in
that's
college,
real.
I ice bath after every single track meet I did.
I thought that was a lie. I really didn't believe that. I really thought it was
Nah,
just
it's
like
for real.
because the other side of it is, I mean, the hard thing about all this health and fitness thing sometimes, and the reason why this podcast exists, is because there's so many this study says,
Right.
that talk about it, but you're saying that it directly affects.
I mean, those are facts, right?
So what about icy hot? Like things like icy hot.
Icy hot is topical. I mean,
it doesn't go in the bones.
no, it's
Nah.
all superficial. It's all gonna help again with.
I'm just saying,
The
because
same
think
way
about
you
it, like
feel-
It don't penetrate.
I'm just
Deep
saying,
down
because
the
that's what they sell
Put
you.
some tussin on it.
Icy.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But that's what. But
like
think
that.
about it. There's
It's
all these
Tiger
topical
Balm.
thing like
Right.
the Tiger Balm. I'm
Right.
Trinidadian.
Right.
Everybody got
right,
Tiger
right,
Balm.
Right,
you
right,
know.
right. And I thought the same thing too in high school because everybody was putting Tiger Balm and icy hot and
Right.
these things on your legs to make things feel better. And in your mind, you say, I do feel better. I feel the hot. I feel the ice. But at the same time, it wears off. Like
Right.
anything that you put on yourself topical after a certain point in time, it does wear off
Right.
because
you
it's
need-
all superficial.
So you need to soak in some ice.
Ice is the best thing to
Smoking
work
that
on
good
So-
pain.
I don't know, man. I don't know how
Yes.
committed I am to this.
Well,
I'll
so
feeling-
it's funny. So I started going to cryo,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so that's a
really?
new thing, right? New-ish.
Right, yeah,
What
yeah,
is-
you're right. You're
Think
right.
about what cryo is for everybody listening out here that
So
might not know.
cryotherapy is where you get placed in a chamber or some kind of contraption
Mm-hmm.
that ultimately the air in it gets dropped to below
Mm.
below freezing or something like that. I don't know all the
Right.
full science of it. I know I did it. I had to stand in that thing for 3 minutes, and it was a type of cold that I ain't never felt in my life before.
I went to college in
Mhm.
upstate New York. I
Man,
don't know.
Man, no, listen.
But then again, I had clothes on
Yo,
when I went outside.
because you're in your drawers. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
saying?
gosh.
And some fluffy sandals,
Right.
right? And you stand in this chamber, and you standing there, and they're like, "It's gonna be okay," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Oh. And then before you know it, you feel like you are outside in the coldest part of winter in your drawers. But it feels crazy because it's cold hot,
Right.
and then when you come out of it, your body starts to feel like the blood is coming back, and it just
Mm.
starts to do all this tingling. But for me, it was because of the inflammation I was
Mhm.
suffering inside of
Mhm.
my body, and it helped for maybe 2 days. I felt the
Right.
positive,
Yeah.
but then it went away, and,
Yeah.
I went back to feeling all my discomforts and stuff. But how real is this cryo thing? It feels like it's a growing trend. A lot of
Mhm.
people are doing it. Should I start getting into buying a package where I'm seeing them 3 times
I'm
a
gonna just
week?
give me a
Right.
big freezer. Should I
How
just
long was
walk
the,
in?
the treatment time?
3 minutes.
Right. So cryotherapy is basically like a modified or like a new version of basically the ice bath. The ice bath is not
Right.
a new concept, right?
Right.
People have been
Mhm.
ice bathing for years. Cryotherapy basically speeds that process up,
Okay.
and it's basically an shortened period of time, but you having that cold sensation for a short period of time is more intense.
Mhm.
So it's as effective as the ice bath, because ice bath is like 15, 20 minutes, right?
Mhm.
You won't get that same effect with the cryotherapy. So the shorter period of time, that's why it has to be colder
Right.
to get you through that cold phase, which is cold, burning, achy, and numb. Once you're numb, right, the cold has done its job, and the pain, for whatever reason, should subside.
Right.
In the ice bath, it takes a little longer to get that because it's not as cold. It's usually
Mm.
like 30 degrees or whatever it is. I
Right.
don't remember exactly. But cryotherapy is great. I mean, it's a shortened period of time. If you're someone who's really investing in your fitness and you need quick recovery, it's the best thing to do. All the major athletes do it. People who do the marathon, they all do it. My friends sometimes do it. It's great, but you don't have to go that route if you're not going to be as intense with your workouts as someone who's the regular person. You can just put some ice on your knee and call it for 20 minutes and call it a day. But if you're looking for those quick recovery to do more intense stuff the next day,
Mhm.
it's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about people with circulatory problems? I have Raynaud's, so I shouldn't be touching
Right.
those things,
So
should
people
I?
who have circulatory issues probably should not be in those extreme conditions.
Yes. Ha.
You saved yourself.
Yes.
That's what you
People like, you should get in there, but
But-
I have
But
circulatory issues.
ice is not going to bother you in general. But I wouldn't hop into the cryotherapy chamber.
Right.
No.
I don't think
That's
that's,
extreme.
what you need. Right.
I'm glad.
Right.
One first time, I'm like, thank God for
Yeah. 'Cause
circulatory
Because
issues.
I was about to be like, "Yo, Chanel, just meet me.
Mm,
Let's go get frozen together."
let it go.
That's how
Yeah,
we
let it
grow.
go.
We grow as a
Let it go.
team.
No, no.
He's like, nah, son.
Nah, not me. you
See?
by yourself
Because she
over
in
there.
Brooklyn. That's why.
Oh.
You know what?
I
I was
love
in the
Brooklyn.
I
I
was
love
in the
Brooklyn.
Bronx on Saturday. See, I come
Hey.
uptown.
I
That's
appreciate
love.
you.
That's love.
The other question, rice, right?
Yes.
Break that down for folks so that they understand, because it's a commonly used term amongst people in physical therapy and in personal training. And
Right.
I'm a personal trainer. We're going to get to that in a
Yes.
sec. What does that mean? How do you apply it? How is it beneficial?
And to my Jamaicans out there, no, we're not talking about rice and peas.
Ah.
Right.
R.I.C.E. It's an
Yeah,
acronym.
it's an
Clarification.
acronym. Yes.
So RICE is a general term that you'll find for most people who are doing anything that's sports related, which stands for the acronym rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Anytime you have an acute injury, right? It can be an ankle sprain, it can be a shoulder injury, it can be anything that's acute. When I say acute, I mean like it just happened, like in the last couple of days, maybe even a week. You want to rest it clearly, because whatever you did kind of sparked some inflammatory responses, and you have to calm it down. Otherwise, it will continue to get inflamed, right? Ice is the I in the rice category, and yes, you have to put ice because heat is only going to increase the inflammation that's happening. Heat brings blood flow to the area, so the more heat you have, the more inflammation you get. If you already have a joint that's swollen, you don't want to put more heat on a swollen joint because it gets more inflamed, and then it's going to hurt you more.
That's so smart.
That's why you want to put ice on it to kind of calm it down. The same
He's
way you
effing
would
it up
calm
right
down.
now.
That's why he's
He's
effing
effing it up right
That's
now.
why he's a doctor.
You would calm down a fire with ice. You wouldn't put
Yeah.
more hot on a fire, right, to calm it down.
Smart.
Compression is after you put the ice on there to kind of make sure that everything stays intact, so that anything that is swollen or you have any kind of swelling in the area, it remains low. It keeps at a baseline. That's why people sometimes wrap it with an ace bandage, or they put like a brace on, or they put some kind of plastic around their ankles with the ice to kind of make sure it's going to be contained. When people play basketball and you sprain your ankle, when you see them tie their laces up, they do it because they want to basically compress the joint.
Gotcha.
They can keep playing, right?
Oh.
So that way they can keep playing, although they have something that's happening. The joint is going to be compressed, so it won't swell anymore, and they can keep doing stuff on their own, right?
That's smart. Okay.
So rest, ice, compress, and then elevate. Elevation needs to be above the heart. An elevation component is making sure that anything you have swollen or swelling can drain back to your lymphatic system, right? So if it's your hand, it has to be above your heart. If it's your foot, if you're laying down, it has to still be above your heart, because everything that with gravity, it travels down, right? Back to the source, back to the center. So when you elevate whatever body part you have, your hand or your leg, that lymphatic system kicks in, right? Like your drainage system, and all the swelling in that joint, since it is rested, now it's iced and it's being compressed, it will drain back to your lymphatic system, and then you will sometime pee it out, and it'll be gone. Or your body system, generally gets rid of it. And that's basically the protocol for everyone who does anything that's physical, people you see on TV or even any sports teams. That is the protocol they do for any kind of injury, and it gets you better faster.
Nice.
That's cool.
Look at that.
So I think that was such the best breakdown I've heard of ice, because it's like rest. You should rest. Ice.
You mean
it's
a
a
rice?
you mean a rice? I'm like, I'm gonna just eat some rice. Like it sounds so complex. I'm like, what? No, but that's a beautiful thing. I think that's really, really important. So,
Yeah.
so thinking about like the idea of rest, and I think that the rest is one of the hardest parts, especially if you're an active person. Like I
Right.
hate the rest part.
Right.
But are there times you're supposed to push through an injury, like, or is it like, nah, son, you broken, like just sit down?
So
like,
it depends, right? There are two situations. One, I would say if you're someone who is doing things competitively or even non-competitively, but you're doing things you want to do, right? For instance, I ran the marathon last year, and
Ooh,
I
you got it.
yay,
Yay.
holla.
Not ours. Go ahead.
I had a boot on in April of this time last year because I have a torn ligament in my foot, and it healed. But at the same time, once it was healed enough, I started training again. And I had mild discomfort, but it didn't hurt a lot, right? You can train through that stuff. You're not going to mess with anything else, right? The healing of the ligament was good enough so I can do what I wanted to do activity-wise. So you can train through some mild discomfort. There's nothing wrong with like training through mild discomfort. No
like
pain, no
pain
gain is fine.
management.
Exactly, pain management. When there's an ongoing issue that can potentially get worse, pushing through it is only going to make it worse. For instance, like a meniscus tear, a tear that's in your knee, or even your ACL, right? If you had not had surgery for that, that's a functional thing. You can't really move without having that thing fixed.
Right.
If there's a meniscus issue, the cartilage in your knee, which is like the bumpers on a car, those get damaged. So you can't even move without having discomfort every single time. To do more movement just causes more inflammation. It causes more swelling. And at some point in time, you won't be able to do what you want to do anyway. So you have to kind of cut back your activity. You have to modify your activity in those situations because you won't be able to do what you want to do in the long run. So the whole no pain, no gain for that situation does apply. Pain is going to make things worse. You will not gain anything by pushing in those situations. Now, muscle pain is different. You're in the gym, you're trying to work on biceps, triceps, whatever. pushing
yeah,
through
you
that
gonna be
muscle
sore. You're
pain.
supposed to be sore. That's
right.
what you want.
That's a good no pain, no gain. You want to push through that to get to the next level for muscle strength. Completely different than like injury issues, because those things, although they seem similar, they're very, very different.
Well, I was about to ask that. Well, what's the difference? Because, like, I mean, for example, I know, like, a friend of mine actually, like, had a muscle tear or something like that.
In the bicep?
In the
Right.
bicep, yeah.
Okay.
And so apparently he's like, I can't do curls anymore.
Okay.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, so
You
let's
poor
talk about
thing.
that, right? So you have two people, right? One person wants to work on the biceps to get them stronger. One person has a bicep injury, right? You guys have talked about like how muscles work on this show already.
No, we don't. We
Okay.
don't go into all that technical
Oh,
stuff because
shoot.
everybody
Let's
doesn't
keep
know.
this
Back it down. We'll make it
We
simple.
We got the doctor.
We'll make
Yeah,
it simple.
please
Make it simple, right? So basically, if you want to get stronger, you have to work on muscles and get them to be stronger by basically working them out, right? The principle of accommodation means that it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get things stronger.
Yes.
So if someone goes in the gym and they work out and they do their bicep curls on Monday, and they go back on Wednesday and they do a heavier weight, they think they're stronger. They're not, right?
Mhm.
Your body gets used to doing things. Like you get used to everything you do in life, right? You get used to typing, you get used to walking, tying your shoes, you get used to doing things. You're not really building strength. You have to layer things upon layer things to build up muscle. That's why I say build up muscle, right? You have to actually do things for more sessions than just 1 week.
Oh,
in
so
2
1
weeks.
week. So 1 week of bicep curls is
You
not
may-
enough to necessarily progress.
You may feel you're getting strong because you're doing more weight, but in actuality, if you were to apply that muscle strength, you haven't really gained much, right? It really takes about 6 to 8 weeks to show adequate muscles. This is based on like muscle testing and muscle strengthening stuff to really see muscle growth, right? So someone who wants to work on the biceps, yeah, you got to do biceps in various directions to work on those biceps, right? Even think about cross training, doing bicep curls and maybe doing like TRX stuff or whatever you want to do. If someone has a tear, that's different. You don't want to overwork that muscle. You want to stretch that muscle. You want to take care of that muscle in a certain way. So you may do the same kind of movement, but differently. When I say differently, I mean as opposed to doing high weights, you may do lower weights. You may do
lower weights, high reps,
Right.
repetition.
Right. You may work on eccentric, which is basically a lengthening of the muscle, as opposed to concentric, which is like a shortening of the muscle.
Which
Just
is
make
like
sure the muscle
pulling it
heals appropriately.
Got it.
Because if there's a tear in there, you don't want to just make sure that it just builds muscle upon a tear. You want to make sure you have the range of motion first,
The range of motion is huge.
right? And then once the range of motion is back, then you can work on building up the strength again. Like for any principle, we were talking about range of motion first. Make sure you're mobile. You talked about stretching before, right? Make sure you're mobile. Make sure you're able to do the movement properly. Because usually if you have some kind of an issue, there's a limitation in terms of what you can do. And people try to push through that limitation. Oh, I'm going to get through this. No. Get back to basics first. Can you bend your arm? Can you raise your arm, right? If you can't do that yet, you can't work on strength yet.
Right.
So work on the range of motion first. And then once the range of motion is back, then you can go back to the principle we talked about before, building the muscle layer by layer by layer. But it really talks about the situation of what's happening with the person. It does matter if there's an issue or not.
Right. So, like, I remember when I had my knee issue, I thought I had jammed my knee because it felt like I had, like, when you play basketball or anything, your finger gets jammed. That's what it felt like. People would say, "Did you hear a big pop or whatever?" And I was like, "I didn't hear nothing."
You're like, I wasn't listening. I was just
I
ow.
was falling.
You're like, did you
sorry.
hear?
Yeah.
I heard a thud.
Yeah,
I don't know if
the
that
earth
came from my
is
knee.
what I heard. Okay? Ask me silly questions. And so I walked on it
Right.
for a month.
Right.
My knee looked like Sasquatch. You know what I mean? Like it was just
It
this
blew up.
massive.
Yeah.
Oh, it was disgusting. Right. And so I finally went and got checked out. But during that whole time, I had no idea that I had an injury. I didn't have enough. What are some signs that people can, look to see if it's sore muscle,
Right.
maybe strained
Yeah.
something, or this thing broke, I need to go get it fixed.
Right. Right. So I'll tell a quick story
I
now.
need to go to 1-to-1.
In the Bronx.
Right.
So when I was in high
Great
school, when I had
combos.
my first surgery, I had played. I was about to go to do a track meet at Dartmouth University. So we were about to go on this.
Oh, you were really in the track.
Yeah, girl. It's not a game.
If y'all could see the look at him, like, bitch, hey, girl, you ain't
thought
know.
this was?
You ain't know. I do this.
You went that,
So he said you ain't really Google me. You must have not Googled all the way.
His head dip was like, what you said?
What you say? You ain't.
Shit.
You thought I was playing out here.
You got me messed
But
up.
Anyway.
but go ahead. So
Anyway.
you went to Dartmouth.
No, yeah. So I had played a basketball game that Friday because I was a clown, and I had been challenged by this kid. I wanted to play him. We played, and I felt the same thing you felt. Like
Right.
I felt my knee kind of be kind of awkward,
Right.
and it blew up.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh, it's kind of swollen. What's the big deal? Hop on the bus. I'm putting icy hot on my knee, right? And everyone's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I'm fine. It feels totally different. But I've never hurt myself before, so I don't know what's really happening. I'm
Right.
thinking, oh, it's gonna be fine. I'm 17. I'm 18. What's the big deal? About that from anything. right? I go to the meet. I used to do triple jump. You guys know what triple jump is?
Oh, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay. So I
No,
did the
no, what
triple
is
jump
triple
thing.
jump?
It's
Sorry,
like it's like long jump, but it's crazier.
You gotta
You're
bounce.
basically doing like a hop, step, and a jump into a
Right.
pit, and they
Oh,
measure the whole
gosh.
distance from where you take off to where you land.
Yeah.
It's horrible for
It
your
sounds
knees.
crazy.
It's the
I
worst
was
thing
about
in
to
the
say, I
world.
was like, sounds crazy.
It's the worst.
They tried to make me do it once. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's usually a one and done, or like you love it. I loved it, so it kept going. In any event, went to the meet, won the meet, went to the doctor on the next Monday. He's like, "Yeah, you have a torn meniscus. You're having surgery next week." And I had no idea what it felt like or what to do. And that's most people's
Dang.
problem. They don't really know what's happening because if it's the first time it happened, you have no idea. So swelling is always an issue, right? If you have like insidious, when I say insidious, I mean like it came out of nowhere swelling, or right after an injury, like you did some kind of a thing, you stepped off a step, you had a trip, you had a fall, and there's swelling that doesn't go away for a couple of days, that's a sign.
Okay.
It means something is kind of wrong. Usually if there's something that's swollen, whether it's like a muscle injury that kind of goes away, you feel better in like a day or two, right? But if it kind of lingers on for a couple of days, even past a week, those are red flags that say that something's going on, right? Usually muscle pain should be achy, right? It should feel like an achy kind of a thing. Sharp is always an issue, right? If there's sharp pain, that's kind of a red flag. Dull pain can be arthritis, so if you had that before, you probably still have it. Not the biggest deal. But usually swelling, redness in the area. If you find yourself limping after a certain period of time, that's always a sign that something's kind of off in terms of your walking pattern. And if it doesn't go away in a week or even 2 weeks, and you find that your pain is kind of getting worse, those are red flags that kind of get checked out.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to get checked out because they're scared of what they're going to find.
Especially if you brown.
Right.
Brown folk don't want to ever go
Right.
to the
Don't
doctor.
go to the
yo.
doctor.
Go in, don't come out. So
He like, he gonna tell me I need the drugs and I need to.
Right.
I can't do my regular things. I mean,
right.
I think that's the scariest part of it is just when you find out something. I mean, and that's across the board for every illness.
That's
People are
true.
just scared of the idea that something is. I'm gonna have to alter my life
Right.
That's true.
for something, and
That's true.
they'd rather pretend it's not there and see if it might fade
Right.
than necessarily do it. But of course, you're saying that it's making it worse.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, especially nowadays with so much information online and Google and Siri and whatever else.
Mayo Clinic.
Yeah,
Mayo
you can
Clinic.
you can look up anything really, but the issue with that is that some people look at it way too deep and they diagnose themselves as saying, "Oh, I have this, I have this, I have this,"
Yeah.
and they don't really know, what the red flags are for those things. But they're so concerned about their pain, whatever they see is the worst thing in the world, and they have it. So I think talking to someone like you guys, because you guys have a wealth of knowledge, or even like me, just to kind of get a sense of what's really happening, does help clarify things and it calms people down. When they recognize that the worst may not be the worst. It may just be a simple thing like an ankle sprain.
They trying to do house on their own, in their house.
Right,
Being like, I got all this stuff
right.
going on.
Well, I used to love watching House because he'd be like, it's lupus.
You feel like, yeah, it is.
And it never is lupus.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she ate a nail.
Right. Like, man.
There was a nail in her cupcake that
Right.
time, and we found it
She
out
had
of
a tetanus
nowhere.
shot.
right.
Something like that.
She'll be
Start her on
fine.
prednisone. I'll be like, yay, I take prednisone. Ow. Shout out. So quick question. So you're talking about like all these injuries. How do you prevent them? Like, what are some elements of like ways to help people prevent from getting injured at, let's say, at the gym,
Right.
Just on a basic level.
So, I love the gym, but sometimes
Watch out now.
people.
Oh,
I
gosh.
know, no.
I know
no,
we
no.
all like.
It's nothing against you.
Just said about mine.
Nothing against you. Just everyone in the gym doesn't always know what to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all.
That's why I get
And that's why you have trainers to kind of show you proper form and proper technique, and to give you like a sense of what to do while you're in there. Some people go in the gym work on the same body part every single day, right? You're working on basically increasing one part of your body, but neglecting the entire other part of your body, which will give you issues where you have to come see me or somebody else in the future, right? Some people, when it comes to form is crazy. People, I mean, I love posting things on Instagram, but everything you see on Instagram shouldn't be posted. Because people are doing a whole bunch of
like,
crazy
what
stuff,
are you doing?
right? And
That
some
is not
things
real.
maybe you guys can do, but someone else can't do because
Right.
they're not really there to do that kind of stuff yet, and that's how they get hurt. So recognizing where you are is always going to be good. Focusing on your baseline, as in like in terms of core strength, flexibility, like you talked about before, Pilates, those kind of things. Those are the basics of what people have been doing for years, right? Yoga and Pilates has been around forever, and recognizing that you need to really work on core strength and mobility before you really start doing some of this crazier stuff, because those are the foundations for what we've been doing forever when it comes to fitness.
Right.
So having a good foundation in that, recognizing form is very key. Recognizing what you can do in your own little, box is going to be very important. And then, of course, we talked about before, listen to your body. So when things kind of hurt a little bit, taking the day off, taking a rest. When your body's talking to you, saying, you know what, I'm not gonna go crazy today, even though I have a Fitbit challenge where I have to get 50,000 steps. Forget it. I'm gonna take care of myself today and make sure I can really be better for tomorrow.
Yeah, looking at that big picture is always a part of that conversation. I think people lose. They want so hard to to be that stud in the gym and look amazing and all these things that they lose track.
I was gonna say one thing. It's so funny. I think the interesting thing about that, I remember a client I had at the gym I worked at. That was one of the things he was like, so when are you going to give me weights? Yo, this dude could not move his shoulder. He could not retract his shoulder blades.
Right.
I was like, bruh, I can't. I need you to just stretch your shoulder. Like it was like,
Right.
Can you put your arms above your head without your shoulders going to your ear?
Right.
Like
right.
I can't put weights on you.
Right.
And I think the flexibility part of it is the thing that people always neglect. Like trying to get a dude to do yoga.
Yeah.
Them muscle heads, get them to touch their toe.
Right, exactly.
Like stop. You
what
can't.
toes? I don't need those.
Exactly.
What toes?
Exactly.
You see these triceps? They can't even see their toes below their chest. Their chest so big and pumped up and swole.
Right.
But it's important that flexibility component of like making sure your body has a full range of motion.
Yeah.
Meaning and full range of motion for those of you that are like, what the hell? The idea that your whole muscle can move in all of the areas it's supposed to move.
Right.
Like if your shoulders can't go up to your ear, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Likewise, if they can't go down, there's a problem. Like just thinking about like your joints moving the way they're supposed to move in all different areas, going forward, going left, going right, going back, wherever it's supposed to go. That's a full range of motion.
Yeah, it's a thing that we talk about often in personal training, because we both say PT. I know this is a thing.
Like
we'll
PT,
talk
the
about.
two PTs.
Right, the two PTs. But like what I think has always been interesting is like I had a client today or before the show who literally I looked at her. And we've been working together for a while, but she would wear a full T-shirt on, and I couldn't see her shoulder. But she always had this rolling, like her upper cross syndrome was pretty significant.
What's upper cross? Sorry, come on.
It's basically when the muscles in the anterior portion of your shoulder, so the
anterior.
front,
What's anterior? Break it out.
Anterior means front.
There you go.
Okay, and your chest, basically your pecs, are really tight. And usually you see this in people who sit at desks all the time. And
So they're like shoulder.
Yeah, they got that roll. And then you got to get that hump
like
in the back.
kind of humpback, yeah,
right.
Leaning forward,
and
slouching.
So she has, and she's an editor, and so like she's reading books and at a computer all the time, and she's like this. And I could never really tell, like, why can't she retract her shoulders? And so today she was wearing a tank top, and literally there was what looked like a hole where her posterior delt should be, where her back delt muscles, her back shoulder muscles, there was nothing there. It looked caved in, right? Which was wild to me because there's muscle there because the muscle, if it wasn't.
Muscle exists. It
right.
exists. It's
Right.
not
But it's so disproportionate on the front portion of her body that the muscles that are supposed to retract her and pull her back are not there. They're not firing off. They haven't developed properly.
Right.
So when you ask the question about what's to prevent injury, oftentimes people think injury happens in the course of action. It is the course of decelerating from an action, right? So like if a person is like, people don't like, I hate plyos. And you'll hear me say this all the time.
Plyometrics, all the movements, everybody jumping and hopping on boxes and falling off.
I hate plyos because everybody great while he jumping. Is when you land, right? When that ground meets you and starts to remind you that, hey, by the way, I'm here and gravity likes to play with me, right? And all of a sudden now you get that jarring feeling. That's when people get hurt because their brakes aren't working, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at the knees, cartilage issues are common. It's because of that, because that's the absorption system. And if it's not working properly, you'll see people with knee injuries, and people are doing a lot of dynamic movement all the time. So there's very specific things that people can do, but it's focusing not just on the movement.
The movement itself.
Right, but how do I decelerate from that movement?
How do I stop the movement with the landing,
Right.
the sticking it, the
Right.
finishing? So I got both of y'all across from me right now.
Right.
So there's a long running beef between personal trainers and physical therapists. Is this true or not? Like I feel like there is, like, who's the real PT? Like we don't believe you. I'm PT. No, I'm PT. Like is that really a thing? This idea of like that you guys don't work together or you work. Yeah. Let's square up, son. Square up.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. You the guys
We
go
have
ahead.
a number of PTs, physical therapists, and we call them ATCs at my job, right?
Right.
Because they're athletic trainers,
Right.
who work with us at one-on-one.
Right.
We all work together, right? People even say the same with chiropractors and like OTs and PTs. It's all the same realm, right? We're all kind of helping people just get back to function, mobility, stability, and function. And we do it in different ways, and then we do it in different environments. But it's the same premise. It's the same movements. And the same way you have good PTs, you have good ATCs, you have
Right.
good chiropractors, you have bad PTs, you have bad ATCs, you have bad chiropractors. So as long as everyone is good and doing what they have to do and they know their stuff, everyone is good. I think
Right.
ATCs are great. We have a number of them who work with us, and I send my high-level athletes to them automatically because I know that they'll get them to a place where I might not be thinking about. I can probably get them there as well,
Mhm.
but that's what they do on a regular basis.
Right.
They
Mhm.
know all of the newer exercises and techniques and things that we've learned, but they're just more into it and more required to do it. And even like the certifications for them, there are more of those, more certs are required in terms of like knowing up-to-date exercises and treatments than there
Mhm.
are for us. So I'm always cool sending my high-level athletes and even my lower-level athletes to our ATCs. Get them work. Yeah, go work. Take
Go
care of
work
them.
out. Go
work
make
it
them
out.
feel like.
Because again, we're all one team. We're doing the same kind of stuff. So
Because I was wondering, because I know that some personal trainers are like, I can fix you, and
Yeah.
and I think that there's a thin line between the two. I take it.
and I'm not. Again, in profession, you have PTs who are great and they can get you to a certain place, and you have ATCs who are great and they've done the extra training and learning to get to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone, if they're in this realm, can get you to where you have to be. I would never say that there's a PT or an ATC who's better or worse. But there are certain things that we learn and certain things that they learn, and together we learn things together. So,
It's about scope of practice a lot
Exactly.
of the time, you know.
exactly.
That's so. I mean, I think it's awesome. I've never thought about it. I probably should see you because my knee be acting up. But
I'll be in the Bronx sometime next fall.
Grand Concourse, right on East Tremont. Where
Right
we
on.
going?
Yo, stop telling people I live, Chanel.
It's the third door.
So right now, yo, thank you so much for all. I feel like I learned like mad stuff.
We might have to bring you back, Sean.
I
You
would
got
love to
come back.
Some more jewels to pass on
Yeah, I
to
feel
these
like
folks.
there's more.
We ain't even
more.
talk about the dance stuff yet.
I
Oh.
know we didn't even talk about the dance stuff.
Who
That
cares
didn't,
about
we didn't
that?
even get to
Oh,
talk
oh,
about.
no, I
that.
can't.
Well, no, you got to. The cool thing, follow. Sorry, what is it? Be more.
Be more today.
Be more today. He was doing some crazy stuff on there. So be more today. Real quick, what's that?
Be More Today is it's a fitness company that we're branding, basically trying to inspire people just to be more every single day, just to be
Nice.
the best version of
I
themselves
like
they
it.
can be. Right now, we're focusing on fitness and music. We have a Spotify playlist that we have just positive music, not
Uh-huh.
corny stuff. There's no cursing or anything. It's just positive, inspirational, get your butt moving music that my boy Terrence Farrell, our VP, makes, and he puts constant
Terrence.
stuff on there. Shout out to Terrence
Shout out
Farrell,
to
my
Terrence.
boy.
What up?
And we're basically just trying to brand fitness and trying to get people who are scared to do things just to do them. Trying to inspire them to say, look, don't be afraid of your past injury. Work on it, get better, and get back to doing what you want to do. Don't be afraid to take that next step to try running a 5K, going counter the 5K, or 5K. Oh, yeah, try that marathon. Like, I ran a marathon last year. I said I was never, ever, ever going to run a marathon.
And look at you.
And I ran that thing.
Got
So
bit by the
yeah, I got bit by the
bug.
bug. But just trying to show people they can do what they're afraid to do. That's our thing. And just trying to do a little bit every single day.
And for the record, I met Sean at church.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Shout out to church.
Shout out to
Shout out to
Kingsborough
church.
SDA.
Shout out to church.
But
What up?
he definitely he really took the fitness group that they have there like to the next level. So,
Yeah.
but let's get to the Inquisition. We gotta
Yeah.
ask you these questions. You
Uh-oh.
ready?
I am ready.
You ready?
I'm warmed up. I'm
You
ready
warmed
now.
up. I think you did good. Ready, set, go.
How often do you work out?
I work out 4 days a week.
Which would you rather hold for 30 seconds, squats or planks?
Oh, planks.
So people,
Something.
people do at the gym that annoys you.
Look at themselves in the mirror all the time.
Hey, we're cute. Body parts you're insecure about or paying special attention to.
My posterior chain stuff. My back.
Okay. Song to get you hyped in a workout. Oh gosh, what is it? Cardi B.
No. It's always going to be an Eminem joint.
What song?
Lose yourself.
Okay. Workout gear or equipment you swear by.
Be More Today gear. We have our own stuff.
Plug. Favorite healthy snack or dish?
Fruit source. Some right fruit source. I use it for my Spartan races.
Okay. Favorite not so healthy snack or dish.
Cheez-Its.
Whoop.
Sport or style of exercise you wish you could do?
Oh, swimming.
Can't swim?
So bad.
Oh, you
I'm
can't.
not good.
That sounds so black.
I know. It's not good. Sorry, black people.
Biggest gym fail.
I was doing a bicep or a bench press one day, and the bar fell on me years ago. And
painful.
no one came to help me.
Oh.
They were like,
And I
well,
had to
figure it
shimmy
out.
off myself. That was a gym fail.
Oh, Oh, damn.
So embarrassed.
Well, let's close it on a high note. On those struggle days, like when the bar is on your chest and you can't get up, what do you tell yourself to get out of bed to a workout?
Today's the day. Tomorrow's not promised. And I think about every patient that I have who doesn't get a chance to move the way I want to move and how they just want to walk. So for me to say I'm just tired, I can't get up, it's a disservice to them. So I get up basically for them, but also for myself, just knowing that's a blessing just to be able to move.
Dope.
No excuses. That's
No
amen to
excuses.
that.
No excuses.
All right. Well, you did that. You did
I
finish
pass?
You passed the Inquisition.
Well
that
done,
was awesome.
sir.
That was tough.
Well done, sir.
It's
Well done,
intense.
sir. And thank you so much for joining us. Let's give him one more round of applause
Yeah.
for the
thank
homie
you,
Sean, Dr. Sean Thomas.
Come on now.
Dr. Thomas.
Dr. Thomas, you can find him at one-on-one physical therapy somewhere. Google him. I don't want to send crazy people there, so I'm not going to say the all thing. But, definitely, make sure you take care of yourself. So as we close, make sure you check out the other episodes. I think we referenced a couple things from that first episode I had with you,
Yeah.
Some
for
things
sure.
when he came in, we're talking about personal training.
Oh, cool.
So if you were interested in learning more about the reasons to have a personal trainer,
Yes.
make sure you check out that first
Personal
episode. Go
training
back
is
to the
good.
beginning.
Yep.
And so remember, everybody, please subscribe, share this. The Compound Movement is not just for you; it's for everybody
Everybody.
around you. especially for people of color, because we just don't be taking care of ourselves.
Mm.
Follow us on IG.
Yeah.
And visit. It's launched. www.thecompoundmovement.com is
Oh, look at
officially
that.
there.
Look at that.
Awesome.
They can find us on the interwebs.
Yes, on the interwebs, y'all. So please make sure you stay in touch. Stay blessed. Thank you. You're listening to the Compound Movement.
Peace.